Buongiorno! We're going to go to Savoca in the province of Messina, perhaps one of the most beautiful but certainly most charming towns in the east side of Sicily, on top of a hill with fantastic views, cobblestone streets, and so much history.
I love Savoca. I've loved it for decades. The history of that town is great, and it far predates anything of a modern era. You go into that town, Esther, you step back in time. That's what my opinion is of
Now,
Savoca.
we must also mention that it is one of the towns where The Godfather was filmed. We're going to learn just why Savoca was picked and so much more. Here's our guide, Christina. You may have seen her in other videos, including the city of Messina and also Taormina. And today we're talking about Savoca. Savoca, a beautiful mountain town. Really, you harken back to another period when you're walking those cobblestone streets. But actually, historically, a very important town.
Yes, because it was founded, well, probably the Greeks were there, already there, and then most of the different populations that we had in general Sicily passed and stayed in Savoca because it's on the top of the hill. It was a way to be protected. Actually, we still have the remains of a fortification, the Pentefur, that, by the way, is also the original name of this little town. Today, Savoca comes from Savoca, that is the elder plant, of which we have all around the little town. So when we walk in these narrow streets, it's full of history. We speak of the different times, going from the top, that is the remains of the castle, the different churches built during the 15th century, 17th century, because in Savoca there used to be 29 churches. We don't have all of them still today, but for example we have the Capuchin monastery, and we have the main church dating back to the 15th century, and maybe the most famous is the St. Lucy or St. Nicholas church, dating back also to the 15th century, but also famous because they shot an important scene, the marriage between, between Michael and Apollonia. Okay. So it's a mix.
Saint Michael, Archangel, he's my saint. Although I do pray to Saint Anthony every day. Saint Michael's my protector. Santa Lucia. Alright, so there's also a Bar Vitelli where
yes, of
Michael
course.
Corleone asked for Apollina's father's hand.
Engagement party, well, the wedding party, sorry.
And so, you know, but for us, there's other things to see there because it's beautiful views of the Ionian Sea and so forth. Now, there's a church that I went into from the 1500s, San Michele.
San Michele.
The Church of San Michele. San Michele, dating back to the 1200s. Look at this incredibly ornate church. There's some beautiful frescoes in there.
Frescoes. Unfortunately, it's no more in use as a church. They have to restore it. It used to be the church of the castle. So that means it used to be the most important church of Savoca. And San Michele Church has really important portal dating back to the 1500s, to the 1400s, sorry, and they are in what we call the Gothic Catalan style. So richly decorated, a kind of specific decoration. So beautiful frescoes and stuccos inside the San Michele, San Michael church.
Now there's also the Porta, the gateway, which was built by King Roger.
Yes, the medieval part of the town, of the village. Today it's a village. Actually, the upper part is still original, because Savoca used to be a walled town, so protected by walls with different gates, and still today we have this one dating back to the 1100s. So once you pass under that arch, you really enter the oldest part of Savoca.
This is called the Porta di Città, actually the gateway of the city, and it was built in the 1200s. And as you walk through, there's the Church of San Nicolo. Now, there's many stories about why Savoca was picked by Francis Ford Coppola. People say to me, oh, I want to go to Corleone, where the Godfather was. No. Talk to us a little bit about why Savoca and Forza di Agro, which is a town closer to Taormina, was why they
decided to go there. Because, well, first of all, they need a little town, a Sicilian little town. They need something that could be as a 1940s Sicilian village. And when they went to Corleone, they had a surprise. It was quite modern, big buildings, not the right atmosphere, let's say this way. But they had another problem. Mafia was really powerful there. And they asked to the production to pay money to stay there. They decided it was not the right place for all these reasons, and they moved in Taormina. Taormina was already a touristic town, lots of hotels and so on. Doing daily excursions around Taormina, they discovered Savoca, Forza d'Agro.
There is a story I heard that someone in town, from Giardini Naxos, told Francis Ford Coppola, "Come with me. I have to show you Savoca."
Yes, because a man from here, he used to live also in the United States, so he could speak fluent English, and he went for Francis Ford Coppola to discover the surrounding of Taormina. So this way, that's why now they are so famous all over the world.
I know, we're talking about the Godfather, but we like to bring people there because it's just like Sicily was before.
Yeah.
Quaint, beautiful.
When you are in Savoca and Forza d'Agro, you forget about the Godfather, because the views, the story, the narrow streets and so on, they are so enchanting. Then after a while, yeah, Godfather is important.
Well,
of
you
course.
hear the music, you have the Godfather.
Okay, so it's part of the tour, but then you see it's more. Savoca and Forza d'Agro are more than the Godfather.
I want to ask you something. As a Sicilian and someone who does tours, and the Godfather's all over Taormina, all over a lot of these places. How does that make you feel? For me, it makes me just angry. Too much.
Not for me, because when you take people there, and they arrive there with the idea of the Godfather, the mafia, and so on. But once they arrive there, and we begin to explain them about the history, about the everyday life, or the reason why now there are villages and so on, people, they forget about the Godfather. So that's why
I love it.
It's not important.
Cristina, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you can see, straight ahead is Reggio Calabria. There's the Ionian Sea and this view. Look at those roads. My mentor, the Peace Corps, said something to me that I'll never forget. This was many decades ago. He said, don't just look up front. Make sure you look down. You look up. You look around and turn around, because sometimes the most beautiful views are right behind you. Imagine living right there with that view of the sea. See the walls of fortification. Straight ahead is Reggio Calabria. The best bread with sun-dried tomatoes and vegetables and cheese. This is Chiara, Nino's daughter. This is a place we always stopped at because they have the great cookies and sun-dried tomato bread, olive bread, vegetable bread.
Ciao!
E che puoi dire qualcosa a Savoca perché è una bella città.
Savoca è bellissima, una bellissima città, è bellissima per il suo paesaggio, perché hanno girato il film, anche per le persone che ci stanno.
Yes, definitely for the people and because of the film and because of the great walks you can take. So when you come here, make sure you stop right here at this panificio and say hello to Chiara. Ciao, grazie. Down there, sometimes there's a sheep farm, but I guess it's too hot for them today. Look at this view. So how did Savoca get its name? It's actually from the word Savocu, which is a plant that grows wild all over Savoca. Now, if you're here in Taormina, if you want to do a great day trip, consider going to Savoca because it's only about 40 minutes away. Remember, it's a very windy street, but albeit very beautiful drive. You want to elongate the day at Forza di Agro, also another beautiful medieval town, and yes, one of the sites where the Godfather was filmed. In any case, two must visits when you're out here in the province of Messina. And here's the famous Bar Vitelli. But you have to get a drink or a coffee or granita to go in there. And actually there's some pictures from the old Godfather in there. There's Francis Ford Coppola. I snuck in here. Here's some of the scenes from The Godfather. I really loved what Christina said, that even if you're going up there thinking you're going to see scenes from The Godfather, really the place merits a visit even without that, and that you forget about The Godfather. Going up there is like hearkening back to a completely different era, an era of slowness, of peace, of tranquility. Even the air is much fresher up there.
I'm kind of glad that the mayor of Agrigento, since you're talking about it and I didn't bring it up, the mayor of Agrigento has outlawed the sale of Godfather paraphernalia at all the junk shops over there.
Everyone should outlaw it.
Everyone should outlaw it. I mean,
Do you
Sicily
know why
is
they
so
did that?
past that. It is so past that. I go crazy when people send us emails all the time. I have to be honest with you. Do you do a Godfather tour?
You know what the newest thing is?
What?
The White Lotus. Do you know how many emails we get? Do you do White Lotus? Can we visit White Lotus? And you know, maybe that period will pass too. I do have to say that The Godfather has been good and bad for Sicily, right? Because it set up a whole thing of stereotypes about Sicilians, not just The Godfather, The Sopranos, all those movies. It has been that has been very negative. But on the other side, a lot of places, you know, they benefit from that and profit from that. You look at Barbatelli, by the way, there's a cafe right across from Barbatelli. When we take clients up there, we sit over there because they've made out like crazy over there.
Like bandits?
Like bandits over there making money on the whole Godfather. And here we are, how many years? 45, 50 years later?
It was a long time. I think it was 70 or 72,
72.
that film was made. And it's an art film. It's a good art film, but unfortunately, people have taken it to heart and think that everybody who has of Sicilian extraction is or was or will be in the mafia, which is exactly the type of image that Esther and I have been fighting against since she showed up, and me far before she showed up. But Savoca is a special place.
Actually, do you know why the Mayor of Agrigento outlawed those mafia products for sale? Some of the, you know, the touristy products that you see all over Sicily is because Agrigento 2025 is going to be the cultural capital of Italy, and he wants to make sure that people come there for the merits, for the Valley of Temples, for the treasures that are there, instead of thinking, I'm going to a mafia town. That's why. Now let's go to Giardini Naxos and a friend, Roberto, whose family ran the canteen for the crew of The Godfather, and he got to meet everyone. Listen to this. There's our friend Roberto, Sicily, Giardini Naxos.
Hi guys.
Fantastic restaurant, and we've been here many times, but today we want to talk to you because your family fed the crew of The Godfather, including Diane Keaton, Al Pacino.
We had the contract for deliver the breakfast on the set, so we've been working several months with them while they're doing the movie.
And they had their breakfast where they shot. So for instance, let's say they were shooting a scene in Savoca, you went up there.
Yeah, I went in Savoca, in the Forza del Gro, all the place around here, on the railway station of Giardini, in Castello degli Schiavi in Fiumefreddo, where they shot all around here.
Now I know this was many years ago.
It was a long time ago.
But do you have any memories? What are your memories?
I had a great memory. We just spent several months. That was an amazing time. We knew that the movie was great, but in that time we can't imagine how gonna become. It was really great. From the beginning, the movie, if you remember the movie, the part one, it started in an area close by here, in the Gole dell'Alcantara, in the dry bed of the Alcantara, near Gaggi. All the movie started from there.
Beautiful section.
Yeah, that's really that's a long time ago. I was a kid, so I was not the...
You're still a kid. Al Pacino always stayed in character. I love the story. Even during breakfast, when the camera was not rolling, he stayed in character.
I think he going a part of The Godfather, and he remained for years. He never go out like the other actor. He was walking, talking, behaving like The Godfather. That was a great time, yeah.
What kind of breakfast did you guys serve?
They used the Italian one with the croissant, this kind of thing. Some other, also the American breakfast was different.
Did they talk to you?
We talk after a few months that you see every day. They, of course, you interrogate with everybody. You have a kind of discussion with everybody. It was really nice. And there was also a man that I don't remember now. He was on the movie when there was one of the two guys that used to, when he was here in Sicily, and he met Apollonia, the first wife that get married on the movie, The Godfather, and he had the two bodyguards with a gun, and one of his, he was working with Pasolini in Roma. Chitti's name was. So I met Chitti, I was talking with him, and unfortunately he died. Okay, it was a long time ago. So Chitti was one of the favorites of Pasolini, Paolo Pasolini.
Now, we talk about The Godfather, but really our favorite thing to do to Savoca is because it's just so charming.
That's great. And in Savoca there is not only there is also, of course, the famous Barbitelli, where he going to ask information about this beautiful girl, Apollonia, that he met. But also there is the catacomb, there is the church, it's a really an amazing place. You should go there, you should visit that.
Okay, and if you're in Giardini Naxos, you want to come here for lunch and dinner because it's very good. And by the way, We've done several other videos, and I'll leave you a link in the description because this guy makes the best pizza in the area.
Thank you very much.
Ciao.
Ciao. Ciao.
You know, Esther, you mentioned the fact about Agrigento being the cultural capital of
Italy.
Italy next year. Did you know that starting in December of this year, the Pope Francis, has declared the 25th year anniversary of the Jubilee that took place 25 years ago. So it's another Jubilee year. Now, what does this mean? Okay, it means a couple of things. Number one, your plane tickets are going to be sky high because they're estimating someplace between 20 and 30 million tourists in Rome.
You don't want to be going through Rome next year.
Don't go through
Do they
Rome.
have dates, specific dates,
Yeah,
or
it
all
starts
year?
in December and then it goes all year. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, the whole thing is that there are the two big doors to St. Peter's, and if you walk through them, then according to Christian tradition, you get what they call a plenary indulgence, which to a lot of people means a lot of stuff, all right? Some people, it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot that much.
It's a big year.
What is?
So it's a big year for Rome.
Yeah, I mean, for the
for
believers,
Vatican.
for the believers of that, I agree. So anyways, it's the 20, hey, and one other factoid I have for you.
Tell me.
I was reading in the paper yesterday, Sicily has had almost 12 million tourists so far this year. And we're filming this now at the beginning of September, which is running about 20% ahead of last year. All right?
Yeah.
And that's despite the fact that Mount Etna
There's
was
Mount
having her
Etna,
little fits
There's
and a
bad
heat wave and stuff
press
like that.
about drought and so forth.
So we're very happy for that. It's putting revenue into Sicily, desperately
much
needed revenue. Etna seems to have been calming down. I mean, it still smokes and stuff, and
you
we're
know,
still
the good
covered
thing,
with ash every day.
everywhere.
But
The drought, let me just say something
yeah.
about the drought. We've had periods of rain here and there, but really not enough to help this drought. So we are still experiencing this drought.
you know what, this heat wave, this heat wave now has lasted over 3 weeks, and it's been
Yeah.
oppressively hot. Okay, I mean oppressively hot in the high 80s to low 90s with humidity. All right, but this was caused from Africa. It was an African heat wave that came up and stalled. Now the meteorologists are saying, as Massimo would say, thanks God, that
Looks like it's going to break.
it's going to break. And if it breaks, then that means September weather finally will come. That'd be
I know.
great.
By the
Cool
way,
nights and so forth. We're
before-
looking forward to it.
Before we close up, that tax to come into Europe that they've been talking about and talking about and talking about allegedly is going to go into effect in a few weeks. Will it go into effect? Who knows? It's a new tax that when you enter the European Union, you want to pay. And by the way,
Is that put on your ticket, I wonder?
that's put in, I don't, that's a good question.
Well,
I don't
it's
know if
probably
it's
put on your
ticket.
ticket. You
Probably
wanna-
you put it in your ticket. But one more thing about that, taxes, lots of places are now starting to charge entrance and fees and additional fees at some of these tourist places, so be aware of that.
Name one.
I think, huh?
Name one.
They're thinking about asking for Trevi Fountain.
Yeah, I was reading that today. People get it at the Trevi Fountain.
Yeah. There's
Oh my
additional
God.
interest fees in a lot of places in Sicily, whereas before there wasn't. All right, on that note, thank you for watching. If you watched us long, we thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you for your support, and if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, and we'll be back here like every Sunday, 4 p.m. Sicily time, and wherever you're watching, we'll see you there.
Meanwhile, we're tax-free. You don't have to pay any taxes to watch our programming. Love you.
Ciao.